And welcome back to the Dynasty Rewind, everybody. I'm your host, Michael Bauer. The best in the business is back in business. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us on this beautiful Friday night, or I don't know if it's beautiful wherever you are, but it's beautiful here. It's not really that great. But anyway, before we get started, I want to talk to you about our friends over at dynastyowner.com. So there are no new leagues forming right now, but you want to just always go on and check out, see what they have to offer. That's all you have to do. Dynastyowner.com, they were our first ever sponsor. They were loyal to us. We want you to be loyal to them. So go on, check out their site. Make sure you look for any orphans. Get yourself on that waiting list. And most importantly, tell them that the Dynasty Rewind sent you. We appreciate them. They appreciate us. And we, of course, appreciate all of our listeners always. So let's get into it. Joining us, like always, we have Nate Christian. How's it going, Nate?
It is going great. Just excited to be here. And Dynasty Rewind is like the highlight of my Friday night every week.
Same here. It's not the highlight of my wife's Friday night, but she will get over it. And also, Nate, before we go on, can you please tell everybody about your music venture?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I have music. I don't know if you knew this or not. It's Nate Christian. It's very simple. It's just my name. I do some singer-songwriter stuff. Released album about 4 years ago, and then another album maybe about 2 or 3. But I got a lot of stuff in the works right now. So over the next couple months, there should be some stuff coming out, and some should be exciting. So give me a follow on Facebook at Nate Christian Music, or on Twitter at Music by Nate C.
Okay, and if you want, he will have vinyl pressed for you as well. Porkman, how you doing tonight, my man? What's up?
I'm good. You're freaking goofy.
You got to get it on vinyl. You have to. It's better on vinyl.
You got to. My wife actually has that same Friday night sentiment as your wife, Mike. So, but I'm happy to be here with you guys, especially having our wonderful guest here tonight as well.
That's right. And let's talk about him next. We got Michael Huff. Hopefully I said your last name right. And he is from the FF Face-Off. Him and Anthony Servino, both great guys. Great follows on Twitter. Mike, you do a lot of stuff with DFS, and you do a fantastic podcast. You do that seemingly about 30 times a week, because every time my Google podcast player updates, there's a new FF Face-Off, which is fantastic. So tell us about yourself. Tell us about your podcast.
Yeah, we are a bit busy, and actually, much to my wife's chagrin as well, that I am joining you guys tonight. But, you know, I gave her the option, and she said yes, and then I did it. And then when she realized I committed, then she said, "Oh, you committed?" I said, "Yeah, I committed. You told me I could." But yeah, yes, FF Face Off. We do it 4 times a week. We are going to be live this Sunday, which is a first time ever for us. We'll be doing a Q&A on Periscope, Twitch, and YouTube. So check us out, FF Face Off, and yeah, good time.
You guys, I'll tell you what, some of the videos, just like the graphics and logos you guys do, I think you said Anthony is the one that does that, right?
I do that. He does all the producing. I basically create the art, and I just throw it his way, and I say, just do whatever you do with it.
Figure it out.
It's a great team, because there's stuff that he doesn't know how to do that I can do, and then vice versa. So.
And that works out really well. That's fantastic. So again, go check out the FF Face Off. Mike, Anthony, fantastic guys to talk to on Twitter. I'm sure if you DM them anything, they will gladly answer any questions that you have.
Absolutely.
So, hey, let's talk a little bit about some news and notes. The Falcons shut down their facilities after a positive COVID test. They are scheduled to play Minnesota this week. I didn't update this. Any other updates? Is that still ongoing? Or were those false positives?
I think, they were false positive. They were actually cleared to go back into the facility Thursday afternoon, but they was like, we'll just chill, come back the next day, just to make sure everything was copacetic.
Yes. So also another false positive. This is all the news is. Alabama head coach Nick Saban tested positive for COVID. COVID is now graded as a 5-star recruit as per 24/7 Sports. A second test was negative, and COVID decommitted. He is now going to Appalachian State. Why is that relevant? Because we're a Dynasty Fantasy Football podcast, and whoever Nick Saban produces is going to be talked about on this show. Also got some people checking in. Phil Penton Jr. saying, "What up? What's up, Phil?" Frank. Fantastic, Frank. Glad you're here. What's up, guys? Frank, great to see you tonight. And Roger Murtaugh, he is not with Martin Riggs tonight, but Troy King is saying, "What's good, pimps? I'm not a pimp. I'm just an old guy."
Up, Troy?
But Troy is fantastic.
Yeah.
So, moving on, Denver running back Melvin Gordon arrested for DUI. Head coach Vic Fangio uncertain of his availability for Sunday. Philip Lindsay does say that he is 100%. Gordon practiced Thursday and not on Friday. So I don't know. Get him out of your lineups for right now until you
Mhm.
know what's happening. I do believe that I saw that he had an illness.
He did, yeah. Stomach, something with a
Stomach
stomach
illness.
bug.
Okay,
Yeah.
but not anything COVID related. So
He also had a stupidity illness too. From
Oh, yeah, big time.
yeah,
like, just you're a millionaire. Just get an Uber. It's so easy. I do it all the time. Yeah.
and you're not a millionaire and you get an Uber. You're smart
no,
enough.
I'm not.
because,
Yeah.
because oh yeah, that's right. If you get a DUI, you
NFL
can't go to work.
The NFL literally has
Yeah.
a program set up for players where they don't have to pay for Ubers.
They
There is
actually do.
no
They do.
excuse.
No, they do.
No, it's not an excuse at all.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the NFL should pay for me to get an Uber. You know what I mean? You're
There
gonna
you go. Now we're talking.
You're going to give millionaires free. We could talk about that all day. So speaking of the NFL, they announced that the Pro Bowl this season will not happen, but it's reimagining it for 2021. So what I'm going to take from that is they're going to find a way to make it not suck. Indianapolis had planned to shut down facilities this morning after testing, but all tests were false positive. So their game versus Cincinnati will go on. Devontae Adams will return versus Tampa Bay. Fire him up. Deontay Johnson, Nate, is ruled out for week 6. Rough. But everybody dumping all their fab money on Chase Claypool
Terrible.
should be rewarded. Christian McCaffrey is likely out until week 8. Dalvin Cook has been ruled out. Darius Slayton is expected to play through his ankle injury. And the Patriots canceled practice today after a positive COVID test. But the juiciest piece of news is running back Le'Veon Bell has a new home. If you were watching us on Tuesday night, which you should be, you saw that like right before we went on air, Le'Veon Bell was released by the Jets. So he is now a Kansas City Chief. The rich get richer, my friends. The Chiefs, good luck stopping them. I mean, obviously they're a very difficult team to stop in the first place. But I'll tell you what, Mike, let's go to you first. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your thoughts on Le'Veon Bell going to the Kansas City Chiefs?
As far as Bell going to the Chiefs, my only main concern was I think people, at least the sentiment I'm seeing on Twitter, is people are kind of overreacting now on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Listen, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was showing us already in the first few weeks that he wasn't a good red zone runner. That was evident by week 1 from Jump Street. So, and I listen, I know it's Pat Mahomes. He's going to throw the ball, but from last year to this year, their run ratio is up by 6%. So I think they're going to find a way to use both running backs. They'll both produce. I wouldn't panic too hard. I mean, you guys are the Dynasty guys, so clearly there's definitely no need to panic on Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Of course.
But in this year specifically, I still think he'll give you value. Hopefully, you bolstered up your draft good enough because you spent the first round capital on Helaire, and hopefully you'll be all right. But yeah, I think both running backs will be able to produce. But if Bell can't produce here, then he's toast.
I'm going to toot my own horn for a second here, and I very rarely do this, but one of the things I remember saying when Clyde Edwards-Helaire was drafted by the Chiefs, and everybody was going gaga over him, and rightfully so, first-round draft pick, fantastic offense. I said, I believe my exact words were, Andy Reid has a way of making the other players in an offense just relevant enough to ruin the guy that you have high expectations for. It's called stupid on Twitter. People said I was out of my mind. Here we are. I was right. Now, obviously, it's week 6 that it's happening, but, Darrell Williams was getting touches. Darwin Thompson was getting touches. So I am not just some loudmouth behind a microphone. There is some merit to what I'm saying. But before we move on, I think Porkman and Nate and myself, we could all agree, Clyde Edwards-Helaire's long-term outlook will not be affected by the signing. If anything, seeing how Le'Veon Bell prepares for a game, practices, and plays will help him become a better running back in the long term. Just hurts you a little bit this year.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, he's a rookie. So I mean, you can't expect for him to produce as well as everybody thought he was. They figured, they're going to he's going to the Chiefs and he's going to just eat. But you gotta remember they had talent like Damian Williams, but he was a vet when he came in, so he understood the game and all that stuff. So bringing another vet, maybe Bell can show Clyde Edwards-Helaire how to prepare, and that could be good too. That's on top of the production that Bell can have for the team.
They could also make a rap video, which would be fantastic.
Be terrible.
No, I do want to interrupt really quick.
No, you're not interrupting
because you talk about taking victory laps, and
okay. It's a
'cause people aren't
premature
sure-
victory lap. Let's put it that way.
And this is my stance. Is people always go, "Oh, it's way too early." My thing is, with the way in which this world changes every single day, you take every single victory lap and you run as swiftly and wave as much as you like, just like Mr. Bauer. Josh Jacobs currently has more PPR points than Miles Sanders.
I can remove you from the stream just in case you're wondering about that.
You
Mike.
could do that, but I'm bringing the red breast tonight, so you won't do that. To me.
I won't do that. I'm actually now I'm really jonesing for the red breast because that's fantastic whiskey. And don't listen. By the way, if Miles Sanders is your running back one, you might be in for a rude awakening this week because they're playing Baltimore. Let's see, he's got it. Hopefully,
Cannot wait.
yeah, I can. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Who is this Facebook user that's just coming on here?
I think that's my my old chef.
Yeah. Well, he can.
Well, I mean,
He's an Eagles fan. He's an Eagles fan. So
Oh, then get out of here, old chef.
I mean, Sanders.
His name is Sean. Mike.
I mean, Sanders definitely is not overrated. I just think Josh Jacobs is better for fantasy and PPR formats this year.
And I agree with you. I'm an Eagles fan, but I love Josh Jacobs more than Miles Sanders.
Well, as a Niner fan, I'd like to say, screw you guys in for kicking our.
Royal butts. Yeah,
man, it was an ugly game. You guys were down to your third string quarterback at one point, so it is what it is.
Take your win.
I will gladly take it. So we know no game to react to last night, but that is the price you pay for a Tuesday night game. So no bet to pay up on, but we'll just reiterate our bet from Tuesday. So Nate, what is our bet going to be for Sunday?
Yeah, our bet is going to be John Hightower over under fantasy points. Remind me, Mike, I believe it was like 4.
Let me get the
3.5.
3.
Yeah,
3.5.
Hold on one second.
I think it was 4. Pretty sure it was 4.
I hate
2 catches for 20 yards.
Why do I not have it on here?
You think Quez Watkins will outscore Hightower this week?
No.
Why would you do that to me, Nate?
Quez only got like 5 snaps. So it did go down unofficially as no target, but he technically did have a target. Wentz did throw the ball to him, but John Hightower did draw a pass interference, which is great. Like if you can get things like that to happen, they're going to look to you more. I don't remember what the over-under was. I didn't write it down. I thought I did.
Torrey Smith was one of the best at getting defensive pass interferences.
He really
was.
I mean, our offense, the Ravens' offense for 3 years was just Torrey Smith run down the field, Joe Flacco throw it really high up in the air, Torrey Smith get defensive pass interference, move down the field. It's great offense.
I don't remember what the over-under was on that bet, to be honest with you. I'm sorry. I didn't
think it was.
I think it was 4.
Oh, 4. I think it might have been 4. I think it was 4.
Sean, no.
Yeah.
Well, I know Porkman took the under.
Yes.
Can Mike read me bedtime stories? Your voice is so smoothing. Yeah, absolutely. Just DM me on Twitter at @TheEmBauer85. I would gladly read you a bedtime story, Faith. Thank you. So the over-under is 4. Pork is under. And I think, Nate, you, myself, and Chev are all over, correct?
Yeah, they took the overs. I was
everybody
by myself.
versus Porkman.
That's
and
fine.
I'll take the question. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Take the over. Okay, now I have it written down. So that's good. So the loser of that bet has to do a shot. So Porkman, make sure you have your liquor ready for Tuesday. So all right. He's gonna need more.
What is that?
I'm getting kind of low. Yeah, Jack Apple.
There it is.
Okay.
Hey.
See, the problem with our show, the FF Face Off, is that I like to do liquor too much, and Anthony's caught on to that. So our next bet is he has to do a shot of liquor if he loses. If I lose, I have to take a mouthful of toothpaste.
Oh.
Well, I thought Anthony wasn't really a drinker, though.
He's not. That's why I'm forcing him to do a shot.
Okay.
Yeah, but since he's called my bluff by my whiskey drinking on air, he caught wind of that. And now
Well, that's me too.
Let us know if you
Biscuits.
ever want us to come on your show and get hammered with you guys. We will gladly do that. So,
That's me every week. So
pretty much. Nate, you were going to say something before?
Yeah, so since we have Michael on the show here, big 49ers fan, as you can tell by his sweatshirt, I figured we should have a 49ers bet for Sunday.
Oh.
Okay. And Mike, can you tell us and remind everyone who are the 49ers playing on Sunday?
49ers are going to be in a bit of a predicament because they have had 24 QB hits, I believe, 23 or 24 QB hits in the last 2 weeks, and they are going to be going up against Aaron Donald. So that's going to be awfully interesting. Yes, indeed, Parkman. So, yeah, but they are going up against the Rams. It's actually going to be on Sunday Night Football, so the whole world can watch it. So, I mean, right now, Jimmy Garoppolo is expected to play. We'll see what happens, but that offensive line needs to straighten up and fly right, as Linda Ronson would say.
Trent isn't the same either. He was getting killed against the Eagles. That was kind of sad to watch because he was so good.
The Eagles game, and then also last week, Trent did not do well. And the offensive line needs to pick it up. And I said this, you guys can do whatever bet you want with that. But I said, see, it's funny because the NFC is not crazy tough as far as the conference, in my opinion. But the NFC West, in which the 49ers are located, is very tough. I said during the preseason, 3 teams would make the playoffs from that division. Right now, if the playoffs started, 3 teams would. Guess who wouldn't? My Niners. So, and I honestly, I think there's too many injuries. I think the line is not playing good enough. I'm saying now, I'm the FF realist, and I take that name not because I needed a name that no one else had. I took it because I'm an honest guy. I don't think they make the playoffs with the way they're constructed, and their schedule coming up is rough. So yeah,
Nate, what did you have in mind?
I'm gonna drink the rest of this red bread.
Yeah. So, this bet actually is a question I have myself, and I think it'd be great if Michael could give us some insight so he can talk about it before we actually make our bet. But who will score more points on Sunday against the Rams? Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk?
Ooh, that is a tough one.
And that is a tough, and I think that's especially a tough one because with Deebo coming back last week, we really didn't get a full look at what Deebo could do because Niners were down and out early. Jimmy Garoppolo was out by the end of the first half, so that is a tough question. I mean, last week, looking at this, Ayuk had 6 targets, 3 receptions, 44 yards. Deebo, surprisingly enough, though, 8 targets, but only 2 receptions. If we're going to get a full game out of Garoppolo, I'm going to say Deebo is going to have the better game this week. But I will say, as a Niner fan, and you guys are Dynasty guys, I love Brandon Ayuk on this team.
Same.
I love what that can ultimately bring as he gets more comfortable with this offense. But this week in particular, I will say that I will go Deebo. And you guys can make your picks as you go. And if you want me to get in on this bet, I'll get in on this bet for fun. But
we do.
I want to actually ask you guys, since you guys are the Dynasty guys, any concern with the Niners because it seems like they're 2 very similar players? Is it almost like double dipping, or based on Kyle Shanahan, are you guys not concerned?
No concern from me. Shanahan's good enough that he can scheme these guys to do what he needs to do. I mean, he doesn't care if he's giving you the ball. And this from an outsider's perspective, but I've watched a lot of Kyle Shanahan's offense. He'll give you the ball on handoff, screens. He'll chuck it down the field to you. He doesn't care. What I love about Kyle Shanahan is he finds a way to get his best players the ball in the best way that they can execute it, which is something that Doug Peterson has forgotten how to do the last 2.5 years. So I'm not concerned at all. What do you guys think?
I'm not concerned at all either.
I didn't really like Brandon Ayuk that much as a prospect, but once he landed with the Niners, I liked his landing spot. And his talent is good enough that I became a fan of his in the preseason. And then he's shown up in the early games and shown that he has talent and can produce from that offense. be nice to see him with a healthy Jimmy G and the other weapons around. And I think with the Deebo Samuel injury, while he's got a year ahead of Ayuk, I think dynasty-wise, they're pretty similar in value. I think Debo might have a little bit on him just because he has that year done, but I think they're very similar type of players. I think they're players that will produce similar numbers. I think they have similar value in dynasty. So it's really a toss-up for me at this point. And I don't know if I want both of them on my team as well, because I think they are the same player, and I think it's going to be a little boom bust between the two of them myself. But
yeah, I agree with that, Nate. Everything you pretty much said there, I kind of agree with. I mean, they're the thing Shanahan really loves about his players is just straight up versatility, and seeing that they can both do the same thing. You can have one going on a jet sweep and have another guy going on a crossing route, and you don't know who the hell to go to because they can both outrun you, and they both can break tackles and get down the field pretty quickly. So I agree with Nate. It's like kind of like a toss up, but for this game, I would say probably Debo for sure.
I'm just going
Mike?
to pick Brandon Ayuk.
I'm going to take Brandon Ayuk as well.
Okay.
Oh, all
right. So Mike and Porkman, you said Debo, and Nate and I went Brandon Ayuk. So Mike,
man.
you might have to pay that bet up and come on and do a shot if you lose.
Oh, shucks. Please don't. Oh, wow. All right, Porkman.
He's really a Porkman.
All
So
right.
I will add that to our
It's a Friday.
Hey, you know what? Cheers to that, my man. Nate, what do you got over there? Anything?
Water.
He does drink, ladies and gentlemen.
Just generic as his Twitter handle.
But his takes are not generic, I promise you.
No, they're not. They're awesome.
Seth Robertson from the Back Row Cowboy Show checking in saying, "What's up, Dynasty Real? What's good, Seth? Glad to see you here." And Frank says he just traded for Ayuk today. Frank, can you put in the comments what that cost you, and also tell us redraft or dynasty? We're just curious to see what he's fetching.
Context is key. Context is key.
Seth also wants to know, a little late to the party, y'all might have covered already. We have not covered this. How do you guys feel about Claypool? Is he a fluke? I don't think so. When we drafted in the second round by Pittsburgh, you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Like everyone. Yeah. Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Kenyon Drake rest of season?
No, see,
see, there it is.
people are panicking way too hard on Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
It's a good question, though.
All right.
It's CEH.
It's a valid question, but it's CEH for me.
It's still CEH.
It's CEH.
Drake looks like David Johnson last year.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know what happened. He really does. It's confusing because last year he had a burst, and now he just looks slow as hell. Now I don't know if it has something to do with the boot he had in the offseason.
Precisely what I was going to say, man.
It's scary because people would draft him in like the first round or in the in the early second round, and it's just not panning out. It's kind of killing fantasy owners. Especially with these injuries, because like if you got CMC or Jacobs in the first and got Drake in the second, you're screwed out of RB2. And especially if you went heavy wide receivers in the middle rounds, what the hell are you doing? I hope you got Mike Davis or something.
Johnny,
I have no Kenyon Drake shares on any of my teams, and
I have a lot.
I'm proud of it.
It's killing me.
I think I have one out of way too many leagues.
Johnny says also, are we buying low on Clyde Edwards-Helaire? No, we are not buying low because you can't buy low on Clyde Edwards-Helaire unless you're buying from somebody that just doesn't pay attention.
If I could buy low, I would.
Well, of course. Obviously, yeah.
Well, I'm saying that people are still thinking it's Bell from like 5 years ago.
Yeah, and people are going to take that at name value. They're going to go, oh, wow, Le'Veon Bell's the Chiefs. Oh, no. Like, they're not paying attention. There is definitely people that you can fleece, and you should know your league. You should know that if there's people you can fleece, then you fleece them. You fleece them till they learn. That's it.
So Frank is checking in, also saying, here's how he acquired Brandon Ayuk. Dynasty 10-team, 2-quarterback. He sent Brian Edwards, Anthony McFarland in an early second for a mid-second Brandon Ayuk and Christian Kirk. Also, he wants to point out that he is 5-0 in this league, and his trade partner was 0-5.
I think that's important here because I think value-wise, I mean, it's hard. It'd be hard pressed for me to give up Brian Edwards. So I think value-wise, I think the winner, like mathematically, is the Brian Edwards side. But I think if you're 5-0 and you're going for the championship, Ayuk and Kirk are helping you a hell of a lot more than Brian Edwards, Anthony McFarland in 2 seconds.
True.
I like this move for Frank.
Yeah, that Frank. Yeah. So I'm going to say if you're going for it, you're undefeated at this point in the season. You won the trade because he also is saying right now that he also got a 2021 third. So perfect. And these are all 2021 seconds that he's trading. So the end of the day, winning the championship is what is important. So if you lose out on a draft pick next year or the year after, but you bring home the ship, you win that money. That is what's important. And you know, speaking of which, one thing that is important, and I'm going to get to it. Hold on one second. Where is it? Okay. One thing that's important is you got to make sure that you look good for your ladies or guys, whatever you're into. That doesn't matter. What does a guy call his best friends? His testies, besties, of course, Mike. I'm so sorry. I did not read these through before I had you come on. Halloween is right around the corner, and you don't want to spook someone with your scary bush. Our friends at Manscaped want to help make your boys downstairs clean and best friends of their own. Manscaped is #1 in men's below-the-waist grooming and offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. That line gets me every time. Oh, man. Rawr. You might be Chewbacca, Bigfoot, or a hairy bear, but it's what under the costume that really matters. So don't be that hairy guy. Manscaped is forever changing the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0. Inside the Perfect Package, you'll find their electric trimmer called Lawnmower 3.0. This waterproof and skin-safe trimmer will reduce nicks to your pumpkins. You can also create less mess by trimming in the shower or using their Magic Mat disposable shaving mats. I got to change that because I call my daughter Pumpkin, so this isn't going to work for me. And of course, let's not forget about the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant moisturizer exclusively endorsed by our very own Porkman. You already put deodorant on your armpits. Why are you not putting deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? If that's the smelliest part of your body, you need to do something there. We'll move on. The Perfect Package 3.0 also includes anti-chafing performance boxer briefs that keep your package cool and smelling fresh all day. For on-the-go freshness, you'll love the Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray. It's time to get clean and mean with this Perfect Package 3.0, so get 20% off and free shipping with the code PORK20 at manscaped.com. That is on the bottom of your screen. Stay sexy this Halloween, your balls, and we will thank you. Nate is back. So again, 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com using the promo code PORK20. Win your trade, win the battle of the bedroom, just like Frank's doing. So
now, I have 2 questions for you guys. First things first, Bauer. That was a hell of a read, Bauer.
It was fun. Thank you.
I've got 2 questions. One is one I'm being asked on Twitter. The second one's a selfish one for me. So the first one I'm being asked on Twitter by @DropTheMic1212 because I said I was going to be on here with you guys. So he asked the question. And I'm assuming, obviously, this isn't for dynasty purposes based on the player he's mentioning, but he traded Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Todd Gurley. Is that a good move or a bad move? And again, I've got to imagine based on what we know of Gurley and his knees, and this is probably not a dynasty question, but
if it's
it's a question in general.
I mean, if it's a dynasty question, we're all going to agree that that's a bad move.
Right.
But
on the preface that let's just pretend it's 2020.
Assuming so.
Right.
I'd say he probably won that trade just because Gurley's getting all the work. Although Brian Hill has been somewhat relevant. Man, I don't know. That's still tough. What do you guys think? Because I want to say he won the trade, but
for redraft. For redraft, I like it.
Yeah.
I'll let you go, Nate.
Yeah. I mean, Gurley, it hasn't looked good so far this year until this past week. Honestly, he hasn't.
Touchdown
and
dependent.
Then he showed some explosiveness this past week. So I am a little bit higher on Gurley than I was 2 weeks ago. But it's still not great. And it's not like the Rams the Falcons are even playing well. So I'm still Clyde Edwards-Helaire here, but it's not the worst thing in the world just for this season with the Bell news.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I mean, because Gurley is, and he just started getting passing work last week too. So with him getting that as well as his laboring runs, that look like he got hammer toes.
That looks bad, man.
It looks terrible. but he's producing. He's top 10 running back. You can't be mad at that. So, and if people are really scared about CEH, you'd rather get somebody who's getting all the carries than somebody's getting like just a little bit of majority of the carries. Because, like you said, CEH might not get that goal line work because he struggled there a little bit.
Yeah.
And my last question, and then I'll only speak to when spoken to. My last question was, I had a big fight on Twitter over the summer, big beef. And it first it started off with Dynasty, but then I went to year one. So that's why, I know you guys have your Dynasty opinion because you're Dynasty Rewind. But year one, I had said Justin Jefferson would be better than Bryan Edwards. And this was when Bryan Edwards was the flavor of the week. There were pictures of him catching passes, and everybody was putting it all over their Trapper Keeper. They couldn't get enough of it.
Oh my God, you're going Trapper Keeper?
Trapper
I love
Keeper.
it, man.
I got
Wow,
roll it back. I
haven't heard Trapper Keeper. Nate, did you have any Trapper Keepers when you were in school?
Maybe he did. Maybe he did.
Nate's a little laggy right there.
He's playing it coy.
He might be too young for a Trapper Keeper, but I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
But I'm just saying the whole argument was, I mean, while I said Dynasty would be hard to figure out, I had said year one. I said that Justin Jefferson would be better than Bryan Edwards in year one, and I got lambasted on Twitter hard. So I'm curious, what were your guys' thoughts? I know it's hard to say this now because we're entering, week 6. But what were your thoughts at the beginning of the year? Did you guys think Bryan Edwards at that hype where he was at, he would be great for redraft? At least better than Justin Jefferson, I should say, because great is, could be interpreted a lot of different ways.
I'll tell you what, Nate, let's start with you on this one.
I never really thought that Bryan Edwards would be good this year. Number one, originally Tyrell Williams was going to be playing, and Bryan Edwards plays the role that Tyrell Williams plays in that offense. But number two, Henry Ruggs has a quicker transition into this league because he's playing out of the slot, and he's getting deep balls. That's what rookies do, and that's what they produce. When they produce out of the slot, they produce on go routes. They don't really produce on the more technical routes, which Bryan Edwards, as the X, was going to be asked to run, especially with Henry Ruggs on the other side running deep routes. So I actually said before the season started that Henry Ruggs would outscore Bryan Edwards in 2020, but I would rather have Bryan Edwards long-term because I think he's more talented. So I never really expected Bryan Edwards to do much this year. And Justin Jefferson was stepping into a wide-open number 2 role with the Vikings, who have a bad defense and had lost a lot of pieces. So we knew they were going to have a bad defense. So I don't know why you were getting all this flack. I remember there was a week or two where Bryan Edwards was the hottest thing in Dynasty, and he was being taken in any first round of any late rookie drafts. But Justin Jefferson was always lined up for a more impressive 2020 season.
Thank you.
Porkman?
Yeah, but the difference between when we were doing our film breakdowns, the difference between Bryan Edwards and Justin Jefferson for me was just pure route running. Justin Jefferson was way better than him. So when it came to the first year, I'm pretty sure Bryan Edwards is going to need some time to refine that and work on that. But seeing that Justin Jefferson was really good with that with LSU, him and Joe Burrow was connecting downfield all the time. So for me, it was always Justin Jefferson before Bryan Edwards, in my opinion, for this year.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna agree with both of you guys. And here's the thing: you can be a good player on a great offense and suck as a pro. Porkman, you know all about Riley Cooper with those Florida teams. He was a fantastic collegiate wide receiver paired up with Tim Tebow, but he didn't quite cut it in the pros. So the thing is, Justin Jefferson, Porkman, like you said, the route running, fantastic. Nate, like you said, he went into a wide open wide receiver situation there. BC Johnson was his competition, and people were praising BC in camp, saying this and that. But guess what? Of course, the veteran guy who knows how to run routes and prepare as a vet is going to get the nod first. That's like back in the day at Penn State, seniors always played before freshmen until the freshmen proved themselves. That's just how it went. But the fact of the matter is,
that was like how they said J.J. Stokes would be better than Terrell Owens.
J.J.
exactly.
Stokes.
You're going back. But the fact of the matter is, what I recall from watching film
remember
on
him.
Brian Edwards is this is a guy, if I'm scouting for my NFL team, I want him because I'm watching him and I'm going, he ran his route and he caught the ball.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's great. It reminded me of watching Tyler Johnson out of Minnesota. When I watched Justin Jefferson play football, I went, oh, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, there it is. This guy is special. So Justin
Mhm.
Jefferson stepped into it, first round draft capital. That means something. He was going to be given a chance, not out of necessity, but because he earned it before he was even drafted. Whereas Brian Edwards fell into a starting position due to injury. So for me, the answer is Justin Jefferson. So Mike, you're not an idiot by any means. I wish I would have seen that question because I would have had your back.
It got to the point where the next day I had to post like a 5-thread tweet about why I thought Justin Jefferson would be better in year one. But
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
How dare you
that-
have your own opinions?
all right.
Exactly.
But that's a life we live on Twitter, though. That's how
is.
you know. To me, you can't bitch about it too much because that's what comes with the territory. I just wanted to get your guys' opinion because you guys are the Dynasty guys, and sometimes I feel like Dynasty bleeds too much into redraft year one.
Redraft. Mhm.
You know,
It does
like,
a little bit.
Yeah, you know. So, but
Hey,
That's just kind of like me with Antonio Gibson. Huh?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about John Hightower.
Can I ask one question and then we'll move it on? I'm
No,
hijacking
go ahead.
the show and it's awesome. Porkman, you rolled your eyes so hard when he brought up Riley Cooper. What happened? What's
I hate
going on?
Riley. He's terrible.
Okay,
And he
was just-
did say the
was-
N word at a concert too.
he did.
Yeah,
Hard R.
No.
That's
Hard
the
R.
hard R.
It was hard R.
It wasn't an A. It was an ER.
yeah.
At a Garth Brooks concert.
I was
Exactly.
I was trying to go. I was trying to get any other reasoning behind besides that. But yes, I remember that.
No, like just for football purposes.
Yeah.
It was Chip Kelly's guy, and he
Mm.
was just trying to force a square peg into a round hole.
Are you
And it just
sure
didn't
about that?
That was around that time, though. That was
No,
around
hold
that
on a
time.
second. I'm pretty sure Riley Cooper was drafted by Andy Reid.
I know, but he might have been. But Chip Kelly, it was him when Nick Foles had his year, his 27-2. That was a Riley Cooper year when he was playing okay, and it was irritating.
No, I'm going to side with Porkman. I think that's correct.
All right, hold on one second.
I think you're both correct, but I think
I believe Andy. I believe Andy
2010.
did. Yeah, I think Andy did draft him, but he wasn't playing like that. Once he.
No, he wasn't that great.
He wasn't good at all. He was like a regular old wide receiver that we had on the team, like Thrash and Pinkston, and only person that we had good back in the day was D-Jax and Macklin.
About Freddie Mitchell.
God, FredEx was terrible. He had one good catch for 27 yards, and he thought he was the
delivered.
champ.
I will say this: I will take Riley Cooper right now over JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
I'll take Riley Cooper right now over John Hightower.
Don't you dare. You do not slander John Hightower on this podcast, Porkman. All right. Hey, we got a question from our good friend Mitch. He wants to know, he made this trade. So he traded George Kittle, who is one of the best tight ends in football, ever heard of him, for Paris Campbell, Drew Sample, and a 2021 first, which is late, and a 2021 early second, which is an early to mid. I'm assuming, Mitch, if you traded away George Kittle for these pieces, you're rebuilding. This is a dynasty. And he did say that, hold on one second, it is a 12-team dynasty, half-point PPR, and it is 0.25 tight end premium. That's got to be wrong. If it's tight end premium, it would be a little bit more.
Oh, it's 2.5 on top of 0.5.
I'm sorry. So then it's 0.75 would be the total for tight end premium. My apologies. So I'm assuming you're rebuilding. Paris Campbell hurt. Drew Sample getting a lot of targets. Firsts are first and seconds are pretty
he acquired Kittle.
Oh, he acquired Kittle. I'm sorry. Then if you acquired Kittle, you won the trade.
You won the trade, right?
Yeah. That's really easy. So he has another trade, same league, Julio Jones for Denzel Mims and a 2022 first. I'm going to go with Julio Jones' side there because Denzel Mims has not played yet, although I do think he is playing this weekend, and 2022 is a ways out. What do you guys think?
I think it was a good to get Julio Jones for this year. I think value-wise, once again, it's on the other side. I think Julio's probably worth a first straight up at this point in his career, especially with recent little bit of injury history in this season happening right now. So I think people are sleeping on Denzel Mims just because he hasn't played. He's still talented. And who are the Jets going to throw the ball to other than Jameson Crowder? Because they're throwing the ball to Chris Herndon.
I've been trying to acquire. I've been trying to. No, we're not going down that again.
No,
I know Nate
as a Ravens fan, no.
I've been trying to acquire Denzel Mims everywhere this week, and it haven't worked. But I'm still trying to get him because I think he was my number 2 receiver in his class because he was an athletic freak, and I feel as though once Gase leaves, they get another coach in there with a good quarterback, probably like Trevor Lawrence when they trade Sam Darnold somewhere. He'll ball out. I know it is a shame
because and Darnold's I think he can be a really good quarterback too.
He is. I think so as well.
I traded away Brashad Perryman this offseason. Number one, because I had Denzel Mims in my rookie draft. I had to pick him up because he fell. So I didn't want to have 2 guys on the Jets. So I traded away Brashad Perryman, and I was probably going to cut him down after the rookie cuts anyway for a 5th rounder, and I was so happy about it. If I can trade Brashad Perryman for a 5th rounder any day, I will do it.
I will say this. Brashad Perryman last year almost won me a championship. I had Chris Godwin go down, so I dumped a bunch of fab on Brashad Perryman because Mike Evans was hurt as well. And then in the championship game, I went up against the Drew Brees, Michael Thomas stack, the game that they set the record. And yeah.
Brashad Perryman and Ryan Fitzpatrick actually won me my championship last year when Mike Evans went down. And I knew that last year Ryan Fitzpatrick was a better play than Josh Allen in week 16 for some reason. So that's when he went to the overtime with the Bengals and put up like 40-something fantasy points.
And now you're here. Look at you. So, hey, before we move on, we're going to talk some starts and sits right after Nate does his Devy Player of the Week. Just want to show you guys something real quick. This is not a promo. We're not getting paid for this. This awesome shirt I got. Can't really see it all that well. That's a Mapletron shirt. That's from Viridian Global. My friend Will Harris, one of the owners of Viridian Global. You can get this shirt, and you can also buy FF Face-Off merchandise now. You guys are with Viridian, right?
Yes.
Go there. Get this shirt.
My man,
get something from the FF Face-Off, and if you use the promo code Big Mike Sent Me, you get 10% off your first order. And stay tuned. If you are following me on Twitter, you know that there is one player that I despise more than anything right now.
My God, my phone was blowing up today, Mike. You was at work too. That's the crazy part.
I have a very special shirt being made with Viridian Global. Spread the word.
Ooh.
So I have a mock-up of it on my computer right now, but I can't show anybody yet.
Before we go any further, can I interrupt the next Parkman question?
Interrupting again.
That's what you're here for.
I interrupted. This is the last time I'm ever going to be here, so I got to blow it out while I can.
You are welcome anytime.
I know. Parkman, are you just a Apple guy or are you a Jack guy?
I am a Jack guy, but I need a little flavor today, so I'll just get a little apple. I usually do a little honey too, honey.
You need a little single barrel in your life.
Yes.
You get a little Jack Daniel's single barrel select. It'll change the way you think about things.
Gentleman's Jack too, smooth as hell. It's expensive,
my man,
but it's delicious.
Damn straight. All right.
So if you want to slum it like you're doing right now with the guys at the Dynasty Rewind, there's a $20 bottle of whiskey called Old Forester that I've been drinking the crap out of. Yeah, I bought it.
Old Forester's not bad though.
It's not bad, but it's cheaper than probably some of the stuff you guys are buying. I bought it before lockdown. They closed down all the state stores in Pennsylvania, so it was one of the only bottles left. And I was like, well, it's here. I'll grab it. And I loved it. So not endorsed by Old Forest or Jack Daniels.
I mean, but if you want to.
But if you want to, like, you can work something out. Slide into everyone's DMs. So, okay, before we get to starts and sits, Nate, you have a Devy Player of the Week that you're going to share for us.
I do have a Devy Player of the Week. But before I talk about my Devy Player of the Week, I just want to talk about something else Devy related. It's about that time of the year that some of us start looking at our teams and we say, oh crap, my team sucks. I need to rebuild. Okay. If you're not looking at your team right now and thinking about that, like wondering, do I need to rebuild? I'm 1-4. Do I need to rebuild? It's time. It's time to start thinking about that and getting on the horse because you don't want to be late.
Nate, is that a message for you trying to get my Mark Andrews share?
No. Especially because Zach Ertz is terrible. Can't trade him away anymore. But we're looking to rebuild, some of us. And what do these draft picks even mean? I mean, we can compare them to this year's class, but this year's class is this year's class, next year's class. That's why you play Devy, so you know next year's class. But if you don't play Devy, these are just draft picks to you. They're just, a second's a second, a first is a first. You don't think about who that pick actually is going to be and what that could mean for your team. So yesterday I started a mock draft for Superflex with some of the best minds on Twitter in Devy. Tagged a couple guys and they got going. We're already in the second round. But I just want to read off some of these names to you guys because even though you don't play Devy, you might have heard of these names from college football. And it starts to let you know when you're watching football on Saturday, oh, that guy might be a first rounder. That guy might be a second rounder. Helps just get ready for the next season, which some of us need to start doing. I know I have a team where I'm rebuilding already. So draft picks got to mean something. Okay. So I took the first pick, Trevor Lawrence. Super easy pick in Superflex leagues, 2 quarterback leagues. Trevor Lawrence is the man to get. Top quarterback prospect since like Andrew Luck probably. He's that good, and we've been waiting for him to play on Sunday football for a very long time. Okay, so number 2, Justin Fields, Ohio State. Another great quarterback. Number 3, Trey Lance, North Dakota State University. Another great quarterback who's getting a lot of hype. And then we have Kyle Trask out of Florida.
Really?
Another quarterback is someone picked 4th overall. If you need a quarterback right now, he is the Joe Burrow of 2020. He's going off and looks like an incredible prospect. He's going to have a breakout year, this looks like. So, he gets the hot hand. He gets popular in the media. He might end up being a top 5 rookie pick if you need a quarterback. All right, so after Kyle Trask, we got Najee Harris, running back, Alabama. I've talked about this guy before. We've all talked about this guy before. We love him. And then we got Travis Etienne, Clemson. We got Jamar Chase, LSU. Let's see, what's next? We got Jalen Waddle, who I talked about a couple weeks ago, at number 8. We got Rashad Bateman at number 9. So that is 3 wide receivers off the board in the middle of the first round. And then we got Rondale Moore, another wide receiver out of
Purdue,
yeah, Boilermakers. I was like,
I got you,
okay. Yeah, thank you. Okay. And then at 11, Journey Brown, who Mike likes a lot, running back from Penn State. And then to finish out the first round, we got who came up? Terrence Marshall, wide receiver, LSU.
Marshall, right.
Not someone you might think about right away when you think of great wide receivers in this upcoming class, but Terrence Marshall is another guy who's doing well this season, could have a breakout year. He was a former 5-star recruit, so someone to watch. So that's the first round. There's a lot of talent there.
Now, would that be like tight end premium or was just like a regular super
Just
flex
super
thing?
flex. Because I think Kyle Pitts in tight end premium will make the first round.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Like Pitts or Freiermuth. I know Freiermuth hasn't played yet. So like between them and Brevin Jordan as well, they might play well. They might play their way into the first round, depending on how the season goes.
Is Freiermuth playing this year? Because I know he had opted out. So
he's probably coming back.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is a first round without Chuba Hubbard or Kyle Pitts.
Right.
Like there's still good talent in the second round. Just so when you're trading for somebody, you're like, oh, throw me an extra second, throw me an extra third, just to get it over that hump. That pick means something this year. It's a deep class.
Question here, Seth Robertson. Did you get to talk about John Mechie yet? I'm sorry, I had to step away for a minute.
No, but you know what? I just talked about Devy for a good 4 minutes straight, so I can get to John Mechie next week.
Okay, that's up to you. There's time for John Mechie, of course, if you want to.
We got to get the starts and sits. We're 50 minutes in.
We do. One last question before we go. What is the least you would take for Jared Goff in a 12-man super flex? He's my quarterback 4. Picks or players, he would still have Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Justin Herbert.
Sheesh.
I mean,
Still get a first one.
why would you want to take the least? You always take the
Right.
most that you can get for a player. That's how you capitalize on your investment. And we're talking if it's a super flex, mid first. I don't know. And no, sorry, Mitch. GP was not on my doorstep. I wish.
Man, Mike, you don't understand Superflex values, do you?
I'm not the best super flex player. I'm not gonna lie.
Jared Goff is going to be worth 2 first rounders.
There you go, 2 first rounders. So that's the least you could take.
And, he's your quarterback 4. I understand you're not going to play him with those guys in front of him. But don't trade him just for cheap. Somebody needs that guy. He's a top 12 quarterback. So don't just trade
especially
him
if a
because someone gives you a decent pick.
And if a
You
quarterback
want
gets
2
hurt
first,
during the season, you can capitalize on that. And you could probably get 2 first plus something else if somebody's really desperate.
Yeah,
to get something that you really need.
The way I see it too is you don't have to give anybody a deal and be a nice guy, man. You're playing to win. And Seth says, sorry, choice of words. I had offered a guy him for Claypool, a mid first and a mid second.
That's not bad. I'd take that.
I would take that deal, honestly. I mean, if he needs a quarterback, Jared Goff is young enough. You're going to have him for a couple years. Claypool, you're going to have for a while. Obviously, Jared Goff more than a couple years. And a mid first and a mid second. It's fantastic value right there. I think that is actually a very good trade right there. So, are you guys ready to talk some starts and sits?
Yep.
Needs to get Porkman an actual glass.
I don't need glasses, bro. This is a glass.
It's like my man's like a Viking, but let's do some start sits.
Porkman is the man.
Yeah, he is the man. Rooter. No, I love Porkman. That's why I always jump in these things whenever I'm not on air with you guys. I always say, "Stop picking on Porkman." So I got his back. So
we love when you.
I got something for Mike because he always picks on me with sonar pork and all this other stuff. I was actually going to eat a rib during the pod, but I didn't feel like warming it up.
I want you to do that one day, though. You keep talking about it. That or bacon, something, man, something.
I'm going to have a bouquet of bacon and just chomp on it while I'm on the pod.
I think I actually commented once via Periscope, and I said no one puts Porkman in the corner. So
yeah, you did.
I think you did. I think you did. Yeah.
Just put me in my rocking chair.
My dude.
All right, so let's talk some starts and sits. So, Mike, you are the guest. Is there anybody you're feeling strongly about this week, starting or sitting, whatever you want? I feel like sometimes we always do starts. So I've been trying to kind of incorporate more sits in, not telling you have to do a sit, but tell me someone that you feel strongly about this week.
Well, I don't have a sit in mind right away, initially off the bat. But if you're asking me somebody that I'm, looking forward to, I'm going to go with Ben Roethlisberger this week. I think Ben Roethlisberger, he's going up against the Cleveland Browns, and I know that, traditionally this would be a game that if people were going on their NFL Sunday ticket, they'd see Browns Steelers. I'll skip past that. I'll watch something else. But these are 2 teams that are combined, 8 wins, 1 loss. So I think that this is going to be a great game. I think it's a good game for the Browns offense as well. But I like Big Ben Roethlisberger in this offense this week. I think he's going to be able to produce some good fantasy points. And Deontay Johnson's out. So that opens the door for Chase Claypool Part 2. So he's going to play well again. I think Juju Smith-Schuster has a good game. I think you can stack if you want to stack in DFS. If you want to go Big Ben and Juju or Big Ben and Chase, I think points are going to be there. I think points are going to happen because the Browns are putting up 30 points per game like it's not a problem. So Big Ben Roethlisberger is a player that I love this week.
Okay, I do not hate that at all. And I bounced that question off you on Twitter today, actually, because a good friend of ours, Manny, he does the Back Row Washington football team show. He was throwing. Nice. So one of my questions was Stafford or Big Ben. He said Stafford. You said Big Ben. So I'm really torn now because I respect both of your. For whatever reason, this week that's my hardest call. That one right there.
I think Stafford definitely. I will say I think that with the week off with the bye week and with Galladay getting healthy for another week, I do think that this is a week in which that the Lions offense can wake up a little bit. So I would think that Stafford could have a good week. That aside, I think Big Ben is the leader of the pack, so to speak, at least between those two. So, but Stafford will bounce back too.
Okay. Nate, let's go to you. Who do you have?
Yeah, so my favorite start this week is actually someone who I talked about in my stock report coming out tomorrow morning, and that is Chase Edmonds.
Okay.
This is the week that officially Chase Edmonds becomes the better fantasy option in Arizona. Because Kenyon Drake has not been good. Like Mike said earlier, he looks like David Johnson-esque from 2019. And Chase Edmonds is neck and neck with Kenyon Drake so far in fantasy points this year so far in PPR. And last week, for the first time, he had more passing down snaps than Kenyon Drake. This Sunday, they play the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh.
Even with Andy Dalton, that team is still going to score points, and their defense is going to let up points, which means Chase Edmonds is going to see the ball. And Kenyon Drake is not going to do great, just like every other week prior. So I'm starting Chase Edmonds as a running back too. If you have him as a flex, that's great.
Okay. Pork, you got someone for us? Start a sit.
Yeah, this week due to injury, usually you don't really draft handcuffs, but luckily if you draft Dalvin Cook and you know that he's out, you better have Alexander Madison on your roster. Last week, 10 carries, like 112 yards. That's totally goofy for a backup running back. Backup running backs don't usually do that, but he has the talent to do so. This week, plays the Falcons. They're terrible. Anybody that you have on offense, put them in. I don't care who it is. You can start CJ Ham if you need to. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Don't
I said
do
Ham
that.
because of pork. I'm just kidding.
Don't do that.
I just like Ham. Yeah. Ham's good. Mike Boone's good too. And honestly, I mean, I'm not saying to play him, but he might get some carries because I'm not really sure that they're going to give. Oh, he had 20 carries. I'm sorry, he didn't have 10. He had 20 carries for 100 yards, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to get that full workload. So I'm pretty sure Mike Boone's going to have like between 5 to 7 carries just to spell him. They're going to put Alexander Madison back in the game because they're probably going to be blowing him out. But yeah, he's a must start. If you have him, you have to plug and play for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one of those things. I love Alexander Madison. Garrett Price, our own Garrett Price, was the one that turned me on to Alexander Madison. We're taking credit for Garrett. I don't care. Garrett was our
he took my player anyway.
Yeah.
In the listener league, he took him dumb early. Idiot.
Hey, Will has a question. He wants to know, would you start Dawson Knox if he played for the Vikings this week? Hypothetical.
Yes, I would. I would, Will. Thank you.
So make sure you follow Will Harris on Twitter with True North Crew at It's Harris Time. Great guy. Love Will. Love all the True North guys.
Yeah,
we love Will.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Alexander Madison, wheels up. I have him in a bunch of spots. I was offered earlier in the offseason. I needed to start him running back. I was offered Jordan Howard and a 4th for Alexander Madison in a 2nd. I did not take that. And now that's going to pay off because Jordan Howard has been a healthy scratch. Question. Does anyone know, is Drew Lock playing this week? I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
As I've heard, yeah, he's playing.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Because my 11 or 12 teams that I have him in kind of need him back. So,
and if you're looking for a tight end, I think that helps Noah Fant quite a bit. And I will say that Noah Fant's schedule, according to Pro Football Focus, pretty favorable the rest of the way. So only a couple matchups in which are below average.
So my sit of the week is Joe Burrow versus the Colts. Indianapolis is only allowing 193.6 passing yards per game. And in week 5 versus the Ravens, Burrow was 19 of 30 for 183 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick, 3 carries for 10 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 fumble lost. So, yeah, definitely not starting Joe Burrow this week.
No.
Except in some places where I absolutely have to, in which case he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. So I'm going to start him. So, Mike, let's go back to you. Do you have anyone else? We'll just get one more person from everybody.
One more person that I loved it. Well, I mean, this is probably, you know what? I got one. I'm going to go with TJ Hawkinson, the tight end for the Detroit Lions. I think that the Detroit Lions, with a week to rest, I think that their offense is going to be a little bit rejuvenated. Sure, it's a little cliche, but I'm going with it. So, I think Hawkinson this week has the best matchup. And, I'm looking at this now on Pro Football Focus, one of the best matchups that he's going to see until at least week 11. So I think it's promising for him. I think he's going to be able to produce here. And I think this is the week in which we see the Stafford in which we all thought that we were going to see.
Mhm.
We were all waiting for it. We didn't get it right away. A lot of it could be due to Kenny Galladay. Well, Galladay's back now. He was back prior. I think Hawkinson's going to do well this week. So I'd go with Hawkinson if I had to buy into somebody else who might be somebody that a lot of people aren't thinking about.
Okay, I love it. Porkman, we'll go back to you now.
Um, how about we
Unless
just try
I
to
stole Hawkinson.
let's start. What'd you say, Mike?
Unless I stole Hawkinson from you.
Oh no, you didn't steal Hawkinson.
Okay.
I would say start the whole Miami offense and DST if you have defense. They're playing the Jets. They're terrible. You can start Fitzpatrick. He went ham.
And I think
You can
Sam Darnold is out again this week.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Got good old Smoking Joe.
Razor Ramon is back in as the Jets quarterback.
And then you can start Myles Gaskin because Jordan Howard's a scratch, healthy
He's
scratch.
dead. Jordan Howard
He's-
might be dead.
He's dead for real. You can start Preston. You can start Devontae. You can start Gesicki. All of them might produce at a good clip because the Jets are just that bad. And it's not even a joke. It's just that serious. Fitzpatrick, he went hamburglar on the 49ers. I don't know how retarded that was. That didn't make any sense. But I don't understand it. I'm sorry, Mike. Sorry I had to bring that up.
That's friendly
But,
fire, dude. Why you gotta do that?
Yeah, it was. He just happened to be there. Sorry. But yeah, you gotta start all of them. If you have them, just plug and play.
All
No,
right.
I think it's a great start. He's right. It's a great start for all of the Dolphins. But yeah, it's kind of interesting though. Jordan Howard was a healthy scratch going into San Francisco.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I feel as though they just didn't give him a chance. It was like, oh yeah, we're just gonna put Gaskin in. You're gonna be a goal line back, even though Jordan Howard really isn't a goal line back. I feel like he was a better back in between the numbers.
I agree. Yeah,
but I don't get it. I don't know why.
I just found that to be just because Porkman was talking about the Dolphins. I agree with them. I think they're gonna be good this week. I just found it to be surprising about Jordan Howard.
All right.
And what do you think about that, Mike? I'm confused.
About I don't know what they're doing. They gave the guy decent money. They traded for Matt Breida, and it's the Myles Gaskin show.
They're like using both of them. That's goofy. And you already had Gaskin.
I was all excited because in my home league I traded the 2-9 for Matt Breida, and I was strutting around like I just stole Matt Breida, and thumbs down.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you gonna do? I don't know. But Jordan Howard's good. He doesn't suck. I don't understand it.
I don't get it.
He's been productive everywhere he goes, and nobody wants him.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's stupid. Nate, do you have anyone else for us?
Yeah. I know it might be scary because sometimes we get superstitious that after a player has a great performance, they can't repeat the great performance. But I am starting Robert Tonyan this week with full confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Love
They're
Big
playing
Bob
the Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers are a good defense, yes, but they've allowed an average of 6 targets a game to tight ends. And Aaron Rodgers loves Robert Tonyan. He talks about him the same way he talked about Alan Lazard in the offseason. They're like best buds. And I know Devontae Adams is coming back this week, but Alan Lazard's back out. So no one else there has shown any chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. So it's either Adams or Tonyan, and they can both exist in the same plane because they're playing the Buccaneers, who are going to put up points on their defense. And I don't see why he can't be another top 5 tight end this week. I think you can start him with full confidence, knowing that he is the number 2 target on the Green Bay Packers right now.
Great
Love
call. Great call.
I got one last guy. if you have Mark Andrews, definitely fire him up because Nate Gary is going to be covering him. And Nate Gary is the biggest piece of shit in the NFL.
My God.
And I hate him more than anything.
Wow.
And I will.
Glad we got
And
that out.
if I ever
Jeez.
have the chance, I will say it to his face. I don't
Man.
care.
I wish I had more whiskey.
Oh,
for that one.
God.
Man,
Cut
look,
Nate Gary.
man.
Pound
Yeah.
sign. Cut Nate Gary. 2020. So yeah, I know Pork Man. My grammar was bad. I was typing too fast.
That was strong.
Sorry about that. So okay, that's it. The only other thing I'm going to say is pick up a Michael P. Ryan if you can, because Le'Veon Bell is no longer a New York Jet, and Nate and I we bonded over our love of Michael P. Ryan. Pick him up.
Can I interrupt in the closing? I know you were at an hour and 5 minutes, and that's probably
It's okay. We're not true north. We don't go for 4 hours, but we tend to go over an hour. It's fine.
no, just because I picked up P Ryan, and I picked
Okay.
him up, and I'm in. This is just a regular. Well, it's a dynasty league, but I'm not. We only hold on to 4 players, so I'm not going to hold on to him. But what kind of impact do you guys think he can have? And I've seen you guys all tweeting about him, but just so, what kind of impact do we think P Ryan can have going forward following Bell being gone?
It's better than no points.
So for me, my only problem is Adam Gase, right? So he's in love with he's in love with Frank Gore. So my issue is he going to just totally just disregard the talent that he has right there, which he has a better burst and he probably breaks more tackles than Frank Gore at this point in his career. So for me, it's kind of like iffy. I need to see it first before I want to believe it, even though I know the talent is there.
Mm.
Your thoughts?
I am super excited about P. Ryan, and I have him in every single league I'm in except for the Dynasty Rewind Listener League because Michael took him in the 7th round.
Damn straight I did.
Every other league I have with Michael P. Ryan. I'm excited.
Dumb
I think he is someone you want to have in your redraft league, in your Dynasty league. I think the sky's the limit. Only going up from here. I just hope that Gase plays him because why are you playing Frank Gore at this point? You're 0-5. Why would
Coach
you
him
even
for your
play
job.
Frank Gore?
Yeah.
Just
You
play P. Ryan for the next guy.
you're coaching for your job, man.
I
Like,
feel like he's coaching to get fired, but that's
Well, then
that's his coaching. Like,
it's not working.
His job's
It's
very
not.
hard.
It's not working, man.
I was just curious what you guys thought about P Ryan because I do think that he's a good dynasty talent going forward, which that's what you guys do. That's why you guys make your bread and butter. But I was just curious of what you guys thought. Year one with Adam Gase, which is a slippery slope, and Frank Gore, which Portman. You make a great point. And listen, I have the Niner sweatshirt on. I'm hopelessly devoted to Frank Gore, and so too is Adam Gase. But Bauer, man, what do you think? You think we could see anything out of P Ryan here, year one?
I think the problem with LaMichael P. Ryan is when he's on your bench, he's going to go off, and when he's in your starting lineup, he's not going to do anything because he's going to be hard to predict. Frank Gore, it looks to me like he's going to get the majority of the starting touches, unfortunately. But that being said, one strategy is if a guy is on my bench, he is not in your starting lineup. So it's important sometimes to make sure that you have these guys. That does 2 things. 1, they cannot be used against you, like I just said. And 2, they could be used as trade incentives. So you pick him up, you never play him, but he doesn't hurt you. Great. You pick him up, he gets you 8 points and you win a game by 2. Even better. He should be on the field more. He looked great in camp all off season. He always looks great in practice. When he gets the ball, he looks good. He's a natural ball carrier. He's a natural receiver. And then they just don't give him the ball. I don't get it. I don't understand why coaches do what they do. I don't know. It's frustrating. But I love the guy.
It's like Baltimore. Just give J.K. Dobbins 1 carry for like 30-some yards. And don't give him no more carries.
Pick up Gus Edwards. Look at Gus Edwards' snap counts.
He's balling too.
Yeah. So it's true, man. I'm telling you. Sorry, I'm just autographing this show sheet for everyone that buys. a sweatshirt from us, or that bought one, I should say.
I gotta get one. I'm lazy. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I can add you to the order. So, sweatshirt update. In case anyone's wondering, sweatshirts have been ordered. However, due to COVID, Ashley at Soul Surfer Screen Printing, some of her stuff, her suppliers are a little backed up. It's just how it's going right now. But they're all ordered. She started printing them. So once everything comes in, I get it. You get it as soon as I can get it to you, which will be me spending about an hour at the post office on a Saturday, which sounds fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
I won't go to the Northampton one, though, because those ladies are always mad when I come in with the mailer bags. They're like, yeah.
They'll be all right.
Okay. All right, let's
Figure it
see. So Will Harris says, yo, CD Lamb or Amari Cooper to go off in Arizona.
Michael Gallup.
CD Lamb.
Okay,
CD
Nate,
Lamb.
explain. You're saying Michael Gallup, which was not an option, but go ahead.
It's more just wishful thinking at this point.
Yeah, it is.
I said before the season started that Michael Gallup was going to outscore Amari Cooper, and that is looking really bad right now.
Okay.
It looked good in the beginning. It looked really good in the beginning. It just went to so.
I'm going to go CD here.
I think Amari Cooper has Patrick Peterson, so
What the hell, Will? What are you doing? Fix your fingers,
He's
bud.
putting a lot of messages in. Porkman Mike, your thoughts? CD, Amari?
Oh, CD for sure. I mean, Amari to me, I can't trust him. He just like one game he's freaking ridiculous, and then the next game he's just like zoned out somewhere in La La Land. CD Lamb, that's not his DNA. He's a baller. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna take CD 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah, and Will is like one of those guys in your texts who will send 10 texts when just one
To
of them.
fix the one text.
But there he is. But Will, just condense it together, buddy. You got that. But no, but seriously, with the Cowboys, I do think that I would go CD Lamb here. But I am gonna say that I'm a little curious because on that last drive in which the Cowboys were able to win the game, there was a lot of Gallup connection. So I thought that was a little interesting, and I think it's something that would behoove fantasy owners to just keep an eye on. Was that just situational? And I think we'll find out that answer this week. But I'll go CD Lamb this week.
Mhm.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. Will's saying that he's designing a shirt for me and watching on his phone. So I'm just
No.
gonna take a minute. Let's just see what we got in store here. So we have this. If you want to head over to ViridianGlobal.com, you can get a piece of what I feel strongly about, and that is cutting Nate Gary from the Philadelphia Eagles.
Ooh.
You're a terrible human being. You're an awful linebacker.
I like
I
that.
hate you so much.
Oh, God.
So much. I just you
Yo, I hope this blows up, yo. Like,
always
I hope
turn-
this goes ham.
you're always
And
turned the
I'm a-
wrong way.
I almost choked on my drink.
So for those of you who are listening and not watching, it is a beautiful heather gray shirt. It has the # Cut Gary 2020, which I have made popular on the Twitters. It has the Dynasty Rewind logo, cropped, of course, right under the first R in Gary, and then 2 horizontal stripes on both sides. It is very lovely, and it will be available via ViridianGlobal.com. And again, use the promo code Big Mike sent me, and you are going to get a 10% discount on your first order from Viridian. And yes, you know what? Big shout out, Will. Thank you to Matty Big Chest of Dynasty Warzone, who made the design like that. So check him out on Twitter at Matty Big Chest. He does some fantastic designs. He was showing me a few things that he's working on, and I can't tell everybody what he's working on yet, but I will tell you that it is absolutely fantastic. You're going to love it. I loved it. So go check him out. Check out Will. Thank you for checking us out. Make sure you check out the FF Face Off. Mike, before we sign off, again, tell everybody where we can find you.
Yeah, I am at the FF Realist, hanging out there, posting some clever stuff, putting together some cool stuff for you to check out. And check out the FF Face Off. We are going to be coming at you this weekend for the first time ever with a Sunday Q&A show. If you follow me on Twitter at the FF Realist or Anthony, my proud podcast partner at the Real NFL Guru, the links will be there. We're also on YouTube, Periscope, Twitch. We're like that girlfriend who is making it very hard for you to not pay attention to us. You have to find. We're there. We are there. So, but the most important thing is, listen, we want to help people. This is difficult times, and it's crappy times, and there's obstacles out of nowhere. But at the core of it, we want to have fun, and we want to bring you, if you can imagine this, if you can close your eyes and imagine this, we want to end 2020 for you on a positive note, bring you a fantasy football championship. So again, I'm at the FF Realist. Anthony is at the Real NFL Guru, and we'll be live this Sunday around 11:30, getting ready to answer your start sit questions.
Perfect. I love it. And Porkman, before I have you lead us out, your greasy take of last week, I almost forgot about this. Trey Burton would finish as a low-end tight end 1.
Ugh.
He didn't. He didn't.
He
Sorry,
got
coming from.
okay. So
It's
my
close.
defense, it was he was tight end 16, but he was getting hella targets, which is a good thing to see. Just they didn't connect because again, P River is terrible. But
And in case you're wondering, hella means a lot. Porkman, can you tell us what will your greasy take of this week be?
greasy take of this week, my boy, Mr. Travis Fulgham, emphasis on the ham,
MVP.
will be a wide receiver 1 once again against the vaunted Baltimore Ravens defense. Marvin Humphreys, Marcus Peters, Chuck Clark, all them guys, they're going to eat the ham, the Fulgham. ham.
What I will say is the Eagles will have to throw a lot in this game.
Probably going to have to.
I have no confidence in our defense, as
But
you saw.
there's no D-Jax. There's no
Alshon's
Alshon
out.
again.
Yeah.
There's no Goddard.
There's not really a J. Jaw is there.
There's no J. Jaw. He's terrible.
What was that, Mike?
There's one thing I forgot to say, and
Sure.
I'll say this. You go along Twitter and you see all these fantasy football videos and this and that and so on and so forth. But you guys seriously, and this is not because I'm on the show, you guys seriously are one of the shows, and Barry, you know this because I always jump in and I always comment. You guys are one of the shows in which I always stop and jump in and comment. And you guys are a good show. I listen to it. So I think you guys need to keep up what you're doing. And people who are not listening to the Dynasty Rewind, which you're not listening anyway, because I'm talking and you're not listening to Dynasty Rewind, you're doing it wrong. So you need to listen to Dynasty Rewind. I love these guys. I think you guys do good work. So
thank you. We do appreciate it. Hey, cheers to Mike. Thank you again for hopping on. Kind of last minute, but loved it. And I do want to say one thing as to Porkman's greasy take of the week. Carson Wentz has an almost perfect passer rating when targeting Travis Fulgham, by the way. Only 2 incomplete passes between the two in the 2 games that they've played. I know it's only 2 games, but still. Also, for his career, Travis Fulgham has 1 more catch, 1 more touchdown, and only slightly less yardage than J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
And also, if this doesn't mean anything because it's a 2-game sample size, he is the number 1 rated wide receiver on PFF.
Well, I'm not going to go that far quite yet. Also, I've seen people comparing him to Larry Fitzgerald.
I heard that.
Breaks on that one just a little bit. I mean, I would love if he was, but then again, if he's the next Larry Fitzgerald, the Eagles are going to fuck it up and trade him or ruin his career somehow anyway. But Nate, the Ravens, I would say good luck. They're not going to need it. All they need to do is show up. And Will Harris is saying Fulgham is for sale in Dynasty Rewind Listener League at me Bauer. Sure. Send an offer my way. Nate, until Tuesday when we are back with the Dynasty Rewind waiver show, we got my good friend David Ibrahim. Hopefully I said his name right. I mean, he's at fantasygo.com. I think. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm so bad with Twitter handles. Nate, where can we find you on Twitter?
You can find me at Nate NFL.
All right. And check out his profile. He's going to get you a link in there on how to get to his music as well, which is fantastic.
Mhm.
If you're so inclined, you can follow me on Twitter at the MBauer85. I would prefer you follow this show at the Dynasty Rewind. And until next week, be kind, please rewind. Cut Nate Gary. Thanks again for watching and listening, everybody.